We also need to think about extraneous variables, which are also called confounds or confounding variables. And y'all were already coming up with these in your evidence assignment. And I already pointed out some of those, like Kylia's points, and I really appreciate that. So what these are variables that you didn't think of that could vary systematically with your independent variable or your dependent variable. And I'm going to give you a quick survey here for you to think about confounds and how they could affect validity. So that's something I want you to ponder on a little bit, answer some quick questions on. But here's a quick example I will give you. Imagine that I was interested in whether doing a quick little meditation exercise could improve your puzzle solving ability. I would have an experimental group that does a puzzle, then does a short meditation exercise, and then does another puzzle. And then my control group would do a puzzle, sit there for a few minutes and not do anything, and then do another puzzle. Now, what if my experimental group had easy puzzles and my control group had hard puzzles? So my independent variable is meditation. That's the thing that I want to see if it affects their problem solving skills. I would love to see that the people in the meditation group got better over time at solving the puzzle. Well, if I gave them easy puzzles after the meditation compared to before, I don't know if it's because of their meditation or because the puzzle was easy. And my control group got hard puzzles, so I'm probably not going to see them improve at the puzzle after sitting there for just a few minutes. So that's a confounding variable. It screws up my study so that I don't know if my dependent variable change, puzzle solving, was affected by my independent variable or whether it was just affected by how hard the puzzles were that I gave them. That's not something I was trying to manipulate or measure. It was an accident in my study that then made my results very confusing and difficult to interpret. So I'll let you think about some more examples of confounds, and then we'll move on to artifacts. Artifacts are variables that we have controlled for or held constant. And what they do is restrict internal validity a little bit because they make our testing or lab environment kind of artificial. That's why they're called artifacts. Same root word there. If I'm interested in whether meditation makes you better at solving problems, what I'm really interested in figuring out overall is if it's helping you at solving problems in your real life that pop up unexpectedly, that are unpredictable. So if I have this same setup, but let's say I keep the puzzle difficulty the same between both groups of participants, my puzzle could be very artificial. That may not be very much like the problems that you have to solve out in the real world, like scheduling conflicts or navigation issues and detours or any number of other things, coming up with a menu for cooking for the holidays. So if I find that people who meditated had a better score at the end on the puzzle than the people who didn't meditate, I still don't know how that applies to problems in the real world, right? It has restricted external validity. I want you to think about some more examples of artifacts. And what I want you to do is when you are reading research articles that have to do with the topics that you just started thinking about with your group and on your own, I want you to think about when you read these studies, do they have high internal reliability, external reliability, internal validity, external validity? Start looking out for these and see if you have suggestions on how they can improve some of those things. Speaking of being a reviewer for journal articles, now I'm going to teach you how to read journal articles.